would you like to improve your health and keep your family safe? You're listening to the Healthy Home Hacks podcast, where we firmly believe enjoying optimal health shouldn't be a luxury. Healthy Home Authorities and husband and wife team Ron and Lisa will help you create a home environment that will level up your health. It's time to hear from the experts. Listen in on honest conversations and gain the best tips and advice. If you're ready to dive in and improve your well-being and increase your energy, you're in the right place. All right, here are your hosts, biobiologists, authors, media darlings, vicarious vegans, and avocado aficionados, Ron and Lisa Barris.
Friends, it's time to take control of your health, breathe better, and sleep more soundly. This episode of Healthy Home Hacks is brought to you by IQ Air. First in air quality, a top air quality technology company for over 60 years. IQ Air is the maker of award-winning medical-grade air filtration solutions that are Swiss-made. It's the air purifier Ron and I sleep with every night. And they just launched their new Health Pro Plus XE air purifier. This Mac Daddy boasts a fan that's 3 times more energy efficient than previous models. Plus, it's got intelligent sensors that measure indoor pollution levels and activate and adjust based on real-time air quality. It's got smart app integration and, of course, a medical-grade air filtration with a hyper HEPA technology proven to capture 99.5% of particles down to 0.003 microns. Guys, that means powerful protection from allergens, smoke, and even bacteria and viruses that you'd otherwise be breathing in. Visit them at iqair.com. Then click on air purifiers in the top taskbar to find the ideal solution for you and your family. Happy breathing.
More health problems come from bad, damaged oils than any other part of nutrition. More health benefits come from good oils made with health in mind than any other part of nutrition. Udo Erasmus.
Unless you've been living under a canola, corn, safflower, soybean, grapeseed, cottonseed oil rock, then you've likely heard a lot about vegetable and seed oils lately. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And let's face it, it's confusing and overwhelming to the average person which oils to use and which ones to lose.
Which brings us to today's show and the importance of omega-6, omega-9, and omega-3 fatty acids. What's the best source? How do we make sure we're getting enough? And how do vegetarians and vegans protect themselves by getting the proper nutrients in their diet? Our guest today is the legendary Udo Erasmus, the co-founder of Udo's Choice line. Udo designed the machinery for making oils with health in mind and pioneered flax oil, $1 billion industry. Woo!
Woo! Today, Udo is an acclaimed speaker and author of many books, including the best-selling Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill, which we're going to ask him about, so hold tight, friends, which has sold over 250,000 copies. He has taught at events hosted by Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra, has keynoted an international brain health conference, and has traveled to over 30 countries, impacting millions of lives with his message on oils, health, peace, nature, and human nature. Udo has an extensive education in biochemistry, genetics, biology, and nutrition, including a master's degree in counseling psychology.
Welcome to the show, Udo. Yes.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you for having me on.
Udo is here. I used to go down the aisles of Whole Foods and buy your oil. And I said to Ron, wow, remember when we first started buying it? Did you ever think we'd be interviewing Udo? So
Right.
Full circle moment from our days in Redondo Beach.
Right.
When we were buying that.
Very cool.
Udo, it's so great to have you here. We were having a lot of fun before the show started. Maybe we'll have some singing and whistling as we go.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. He is a great whistler.
He is very modest. Yes, that was a solid whistle, right? That was really good going through and a good singer. You know, he was hard on himself in the singing, but, you know, I think he's exceptional. So maybe we'll get a treat at the end. Can we force you to sing later?
Give it a shot.
Okay, we'll give it a shot. There we go. Yes.
Okay, well, Udo, we have a lot of ground to cover, so I want to dive right in.
Yep.
And let's start at the beginning of your compelling journey of overcoming adversity as a child, a war immigrant, and how your early life led up to you becoming poisoned by pesticides.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you got 82 years? I'll tell you the whole story.
We do.
No, I was born in 1942 in part of Poland that was then part of Germany during the Second World War, and on a stolen farm, sort of. Germany stole the farm when Hitler and Stalin made a non-aggression pact. Latvia, where my parents lived, went to the Soviet Union, and a part of Poland went to Germany. And there was nobody from Latvia or Poland at the meeting. They just took it, right?
Wow.
Yeah. This is like crazy stuff. My father left Latvia because he loved Russia. He loved Russians because they're very feeling people. And he hated communism because they took everything away from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he was given a farm in Poland that belonged to a Polish farmer, but Germany confiscated it, gave it to my father. So the owner of the farm became my father's farmhand. My father was also a farmer, right?
Oh my gosh.
And that was a little tension. And so my father said to him, look, we're living in crazy times. Let's just run the farm the way the farm needs to be run. And then when all this stuff settles out, we'll sort it out.
Wow.
And they became really good friends in the middle of this craziness.
Oh, that's awesome.
When the war ended, we were refugees. My father was off to war. He was in a prisoner of war camp at that point. And my mother, this farmer, they helped us to get out. And they were on horse-drawn hay wagons on dirt roads with no military presence, all women with young children, and trying to get the hell out of being chased by the communists in tanks and trucks. And the Allies, these are the guys we like to think of as the good guys. They were using the refugees as target practice, shooting at them from planes.
Whoa.
Wow.
And it was pretty intense. I was 2 years old, and I just remember not feeling safe and being hungry sometimes and not knowing what I could trust because every day it was a different story.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And my take home from that is, hey, if you're going to have kids, don't raise them in a war zone. Right?
Absolutely.
So, and then we got out. Then my mother had to get off the road because it was winter and the roads is where all the bullets were flying. And she decided to go through the fields, the snow-covered fields. But she had 6 kids with her, so she had to leave 4 behind. She couldn't handle it. So I ended up in an orphanage for a short time. And Can you imagine a mother having to make that kind of a decision?
No. Sophie's choice, right?
Yeah, so kind of like that. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we eventually got reunited. Her sister found out what happened, and then she went out and looked for us. We all got reunited. So for me, it was like I grew up really shy. I was always like this.
Yeah, guarded.
Yeah, because I didn't. Who can I trust? Who's going to turn on me, right? I loved books because books are safe.
Yeah.
Nothing jumps out of you from a book. No flying bullets. You can read about a war. So I was very bookish, and I loved nature. Because nature has a nice pace. I watched little spiders go up and down blades of grass. And, it's like, I love nature. Nature is beautiful.
Yeah, we do too. We're very obsessed with nature.
When I was 6, I heard adults arguing about like really trivial things that I thought as a 6-year-old were trivial. And this thought came to me. It always made me uneasy when they argued because it was so intense. Mm-hmm. And this thought came to me, man, there must be a way that people can live in harmony. Little cocky voice. I'm going to find out how, 6 years old, don't know how complicated everything. I'm going to find out. So that's been my driver all my life. And I did find out, which is probably not going to get too much of that, but there's a way that people can live in harmony. I know how. And so then anyway, so I went to school. School was tough because they didn't like DPs, displaced persons.
Okay.
Refugees.
Okay.
They were taking up room in their countries. So they didn't like this. So I had a lot of issues.
This was in Germany.
This is in Germany.
Okay.
After the war.
So it's behind the Berlin Wall, basically.
No, we were in West Germany.
Oh, okay. I see. Oh, right. Thank you.
We went from Poland through Berlin. So by that time, we're already in the eastern part of Germany.
Okay.
And then to West Germany, to Düsseldorf, actually.
Oh, wow.
And then East and West Germany, when they were divided. Part I was in was West Germany.
Wow.
When you were at the orphanage, were you with other siblings? Did you get to stay together?
One of my siblings was there too. But I don't remember, I don't have a memory of that. I just remember more the feelings, like the anxiety, that would be, this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my parents went through the First World War, then the Bolshevik Revolution, then the Depression, and then the Second World War. That was their life in Europe.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So my father, when he went through Quebec, Eastern Canada, which is very similar to Latvia, because its latitude is similar, birch trees and aspen trees and evergreens. And when he saw that, he said, if I survive the war, I'm going to Canada. So when I was 10, came back when I was 4, when it took us 6 years to go through the bureaucracy to get the paperwork done. And when I was 10, we left Germany for Canada.
Okay. Wow.
You were such a being of light. I mean, your positive attitude from beginning to end going through all this is incredible. It really is.
Well, you know what? I was affected by it big time. But the thing is that everybody has trauma. Okay. There's no childhood that is not traumatic. You fall down, you skin yourself, somebody bee stings you.
Yeah.
Somebody bullies you. Your parents punish you for something you didn't do. This goes on and on and on. Life is not easy when you come in without a roadmap, right? Because we all come in without a roadmap, right? And we have to figure it out on the fly. So given that everybody has trauma, but something in us is not affected by trauma. And it took me like over 20 years after the war had ended. The war ended when I was 2. I was still bitching about it when I was 26. And one day I was sitting in the sun on a porch, just not doing anything, just sitting there. And I said, oh my God, through all of this time, all my dramas and all my traumas, something took perfect care of me. And I have never given that ever any acknowledgement.
Oh,
and it's been really an incredible friend. I've never, ever thought, gee, maybe I'd like to get to know it. Gee, maybe this friend might be really good to get to know. That was a turnaround for me to start to look at, well, what is life? How do I get in touch with? In a way, I tried to figure it out before too, because I studied biology, right? And the reason I studied it was like bio means life, ology means study. Biology, study of life. I knew that. I wanted to know what life is. And I had this thought that at some point we would have a beaker, a glass beaker that would be half filled with something liquid and shining. And we'd all be standing there and look and say, there's life. But we never got that beaker in biology. Because in biology, you don't actually study life. You study form and function. And if we started with a living frog in one of our experiments, right? By the time we were done, we had put electricity on a nerve. And then when the electricity hit the nerve, the muscle contracted. And so we could see, oh yeah, that's form and function, right? But the life was gone.
Yeah.
And I said to my lab partner, we should really study ourselves, because in ourselves, we have form and function and life all together. And we don't have to kill ourselves to get to know it.
Right. Or anything, right? Or any being.
Yeah. And his eyes just glassed over. He totally didn't get what I was saying.
You're like, I'm changing majors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
right. Absolutely.
So I went into biological science for that. Then I went into psych. Psychology is study of soul. Seemed to me, there must be something there because people talk about it. Well, you don't study soul in psychology. You study thoughts, beliefs, and emotion. And then we did a little bit of physiological psychology, brain function and stuff like that. But you don't ever get a handle on soul.
Yeah.
Then I went into medicine because it's called healthcare. And I thought in medicine, I'm going to learn about health. We didn't learn about health. I went to the dean. I said, what is health? He said, we don't know. We're working on it.
We're working on it. It's been a long time.
If you want to see the perfect archetype of disappointment, that would have been my face when I heard that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's the sick care industry.
Yeah, of course. And then we were told in first year medicine, a doctor should always sound as though he knows what's going on, even when he doesn't. And we call that lying on the farm. So that was the end of my medical career.
Wow.
I went back into biological sciences, biochemistry, genetics, because in biological sciences, you learn more about health than in medicine because you're studying normal functioning of normal creatures in normal situations. And in medicine, you're studying sick creatures
right
in abnormal situations, whether it's pesticide poisoning or whatever it is, right? So I ended up in biochemistry and genetics, but it's still about form and function. We talk about the energy molecule, the life molecule, ATP, right? We looked at the molecule, but we never got a handle on the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to know, what is that energy? I eventually got to it. It's a long story. We probably should do a whole thing on that.
Well, absolutely. I like how you were focused on life.
Yeah, on human nature and total health.
Well, we're going to get into that.
Eventually, I found out what health is, what life is. And literally, that's what I'm most focused on these days.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I left university. I diddled with psychedelics for a couple of years. I had some very powerful experiences that kind of melted the door off my kid personality.
Oh,
my God, there's
really?
1,000 ways to live. And so that took me a step closer. And eventually I ended up starting to do a stillness practice.
Oh,
okay.
I've been doing that for over 50 years, because if you want to get to know your life and the peace within which your life unfolds and the inspiration that is the shine of life into the world, you have to sit down, shut up, shut out all of your distractions and be with yourself and notice what's there. How can you do that if you never sit still?
Right.
So we know more about an environment than we know about ourselves.
Oh, yeah. People know more about celebrities than they do about themselves or their body or their mind.
And we know about our car engines and our watches than we know about how a human being functions.
Yeah.
Or what total health is.
Udo, was this around the time that when you started your inspirational journey, from when you were 4 guys in a van, no AC, traveling across America, or just before then?
No. So I was already doing that.
Okay.
I was doing the practice.
Okay.
I started the practice in 1972. I had a very powerful spiritual experience that basically reset my whole life in 1970.
Okay.
Not talked to anybody about it for 30 years until 2001 when 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And I realized, oh my God, what I know is cool. It's about contentment. And discontent people will always spread discontent. And if people who are content, and I claim to be one of those people, if we don't spread contentment faster than they spread discontent, guess where we're headed? Right? There has to be something that we become aware of that isn't just garbage, that isn't just conflict, that isn't just opposition, that isn't just argument.
Do you think we're in a spiritual war of light and dark right now?
Oh, 100%. But you could say that the humanity has always been in that spiritual war. It's more intense now because we have so much more destructibility available to us. And we're so discontent.
Most people, yeah.
And people say, well, we have so many distractions. Well, actually, that's never been different, because you only need one distraction to lose your connection to yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
We have a million to choose from, but you only need one.
Right. So you can only do one at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not different. And the heart aches for fulfillment, because heartache is the call to come home.
Yes.
But this is the other thing. So then anyway, I got out of university and I did all of that. Then I got married and had 3 kids. My marriage broke up and I was really upset and I wanted to kill something. So I took a job as a full-time pesticide sprayer. And pesticides were only made to kill living things.
Right.
That's their only function.
That's their job. Yeah.
I was really careless, did it for 3 years, got poisoned by pesticide.
Wow.
Oh, what kind of pesticide?
Oh, you name it. Glyphosate.
Oh, not DDT? Or was DDT still being used at
DDT
that
was
time?
already outlawed by that time, but diazinon and so fungicides, insecticides, herbicides, glyphosate. Everybody knows about glyphosate.
Yeah.
I started that job in 1976. Well, glyphosate came on the market, I think, in about 1974, around there. And they used to put on the label, inactivated on contact with soil. That was on the label.
Wow.
And I thought, oh my God, we have the perfect pesticide. It kills what it's supposed to kill, and then it's inactivated. And you know what? That was never true.
Wow.
That was never true. And nobody ever took Monsanto to task for that.
Really? Because they've been sued a lot.
Well, they've been sued for glyphosate causing lymphoma and other health problems.
Yes.
But they've never been.
Oh, but not for the labeling portion.
Not for lying about the fact that it's not enacted when it hits the soil.
Oh, yeah. How would it be if it was inactive when it hit the soil? It wouldn't really be doing its job, I guess, right? I mean,
no, killing the bugs and making sure.
Well, no, it would kill the plant that you're trying to kill.
Right.
And then it would be neutralized.
Oh,
And that would be the best picture, right?
oh, I see.
But it was never true. They just lied about it.
They just lied. Corporate lies.
So then I went to the doctor and I said, what do you have for pesticide poisoning? And she said, nothing.
They were like, what's that? Probably then, right? People didn't really know about it.
Well, no, they just don't have anything. You know, we know how to make the poisons, but we actually don't have antidotes for many of them.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
So then I say, okay, well, I guess I'm on my own now. And the penny really dropped on, oh my God, my health is really my responsibility. I sort of knew it, but the rubber really hit the road at that point. Right?
Sure.
Did the company that you worked for have any precautions in place for you, like masks and gloves and nothing?
Well, I could have worn them. I didn't wear them because I didn't want to scare the neighbors.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
But we were not told about the negative effects of pesticide poisoning by the government that licensed me to spray them. So I had to take a course. I got 99.5% on the course. I knew my stuff.
You'll be fine, Udo. You'll be fine. This is tested safe.
Yeah. And when the guy who marked it said to me, I said, what did I get wrong? I think you made a mistake marking it, my exam.
Oh, I know what it was. Do companies lie?
Yeah, that would have been good.
No.
But he said to me, he laughed. He said, so how many instars in a fruit fly or in a crane fly? And I said 4. And that's part of crane fly development, right? He said, well, you circled 2. That was the one mistake I made. And I actually knew the right answer. I don't know why I circled the wrong one. Anyway, so I was good and I knew that, but we never got anything about what are the side effects, what are the poisoning effects. And then when I got poisoned, I called the people who did the course and said, can I come and look at some of your research on pesticides? And say, oh, no, you don't have pesticide poisoning. You just got a flu. It's going around. So they lied to me. So then I went to Greenpeace and met a couple of women who had collected, like they had a stack, it's like 2 feet high stack of studies on pesticide poisoning, different pesticides, different poisoning, different things. So I went through that and my palms started to sweat because I said, oh shit, I have cancer to look forward to. And we don't have an antidote for this. And so then it was like, okay, well, I have biochemistry genetic background. Let me figure it out. And fundamentally, it's like if you do the reverse of what you did to get it, then you should be able to unget it, right?
Right.
Very simple thinking. So I said, okay, body's made out of food, also water and air, but I was just thinking food at that time. So if the body's made out of food, then I want to read everything I can about nutrition and health and nutrition and disease. And so I was doing that, went into Medline, the database, huge database, had 16,000 citations, different studies cited in it. So huge. And looked for everything I could find. And I was looking at minerals. There's 18 essential minerals. There's 13 essential vitamins. There's 9 essential amino acids that come from proteins. There are 2 essential fatty acids that come from oils. And each one the body can't make, but has to have. Has to therefore get from outside. If you don't get enough, you cannot stay healthy. Your health will deteriorate. And if you don't get enough long enough, you die for each one of these 42.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
And if your health is going down because you didn't get enough of it, but before you die, because death by definition is not reversible, right? Before you die, you bring enough back into the diet, then all the problems that come from not getting enough are reversed. Because life knows what to do to make a body that works. If you make sure here at your mouth that you bring in the building blocks, all of them.
So it's a quick turnaround. If you can,
Are you saying any illness, Udo?
Relatively. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Okay. And I ended up getting into oils because that was the most confusing area. So there was a study I read. It said omega-6 is an essential nutrient. Yeah, I heard you say that in the introduction. Omega-6 is an essential nutrient. And the very next study I read says omega-6 gives you cancer and kills you. I'm going, what the hell? How can that be? You have to have it and then you get killed by it. Like, no. It's like there must be something wrong here. And it was that made me look deeper into how oils are made. And out of that came the quote that you read at the beginning. More health damage is done by damaged oils. More health problems come from damaged oils than any other part of nutrition. and more health benefits will come from making the oil change your body needs from damaged oils to oils made with health in mind.
Okay. That's a soundbite for this whole entire interview.
Right.
Right there.
Well, he already gave that soundbite, right? And so then it was like, okay, then the year after I got poisoned in 1980. 1981 is it was established that not only omega-6 is essential, but omega-3 is also essential by that same definition. And 99% of the population does not get enough for omega-3 for optimum health. And every cell in your body needs it. And I had an epiphany. It was like, oh my God, if we could make oil, or the other thing was, oils are the most sensitive of our nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
They're easily damaged by light, by oxygen, and by heat.
Mm-hmm.
They need a lot of care. They need more care than any other nutrient. We give them less care than any other nutrient. We throw them in a frying pan where light, oxygen, heat damage them and turn them into smoke. Right?
Yeah, right.
So knowing all of that, is that, oh my God, if we could make oils with health in mind, so they're not damaged by light, oxygen, heat, and we could bring the omega-3s that are too low in 99% of the people back into the diet, oh my God, we could help almost everybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got so excited. It's like, oh my God, I just found a purpose for life.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh my God, this is worth doing.
your aha moment. Yeah.
And I moved in with my mother when I was 41
Mm.
to write a book. The book is now called Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill, and to design a method for making oils with health in mind. Because if you know they're damaged by light, oxygen, heat, then how do you create a very tight system so that no light, oxygen, or heat can damage the oil from the time it's in the seed, protected by nature's packaging, through the pressing and the filtering and the settling and the filling, till it's in a brown glass bottle, because plastic leaches into oils. That's not good. In a brown glass bottle, in a box to cut out all the light, and in the refrigerator in the factory. So you have to make a very tight system, and I built that system.
Nice.
Wow.
Bravo.
Right? And so it's like the idea, and then I got put into the Hall of Fame in the Canadian Health Food Association for starting an industry. The industry of making oils with health in mind.
Did you run up against, that sounds like an expensive process compared to how probably other people were doing that. Did you come up against that? Like, oh, these processes are pricey and people aren't going to value the glass bottles, even though they're required. I don't want to pay that extra amount. Or were the customers like willing?
You know what? The question you ask is in the state I was in. That was a completely irrelevant question.
Yeah.
And it never occurred to me to ask it.
Okay, good.
It was so on fire for, oh my God, we could help so many people.
Yeah.
And we started on a shoestring. We didn't have any money.
Wow.
I wrote the book living off my mother.
Right.
That's how I got that done. Then I designed the method on paper because that's all I had. I had no money, right?
Right.
Wow.
But the buzz was there.
Yeah.
You know, I was excited. I was on fire. Well, when you get on fire for something,
Yeah.
a lot of things start to happen.
Yeah, that's right. We just did a conference this weekend called Success Leadership Summit Quantum Vibes. It's all about tapping into your quantum energy and potential. And like nothing's impossible when you align. Yeah.
And so we started on a shoestring and we set up in a place above a butcher shop, downtown Vancouver.
A butcher shop.
And veggie wieners, you know, the soybean wieners.
Yeah.
Yves was the guy who started that. And he had just vacated that place. So we inherited that place and then we bought a small machine and then we built a system. And we just started from nothing.
Wow.
We literally, and then flax oil is the richest source of omega-3 of any of the seed oils.
Okay.
And it's also the most sensitive because omega-3 is 5 times more sensitive to damage by light, oxygen, and heat than omega-6.
Okay.
So we said, okay, if we can make flax oil with health in mind, and if we can do that and pull it off, then any other oil we'd ever want to make with health in mind would be a piece of cake.
It'd be so easy. Right.
So we did the hardest oil first.
Nice. Does flaxseed have omega-6 also?
It has about 14% omega-6
Okay.
and about 57% omega-3.
Okay.
So it's very high in 3, low in 6.
Okay.
And then we started going out and telling the story and created a buzz. And in 2 years, flaxseed oil became the second highest selling oil in the health food industry where we were active.
Wow.
2 years. And literally everybody wanted to work with us.
And you never heard of flaxseed oil before that, right? I mean, I had never heard of it growing up, like flax.
No, at that time there was something called linseed oil, which was not made with health in mind. And linseed oil was usually used for protecting furniture because it cross-links with oxygen and light and then protects the furniture.
Oh, right.
And it smells. It has a paint smell when you use it that way.
I think it's used in flooring too, isn't it? Linseed oil?
Yeah, in linoleum.
Linoleum, yeah.
Linoleum used to be made out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah.
And then everybody wanted to work with us. And we did a road trip in 1988 because we didn't have any money in a van without air conditioning. The hottest months, July, August, half of June, half of September, through the U.S., 101 days, 85 cities, 35 states, and 17,000 miles by road. Told everybody who would listen to us about.
I want to see the movie on this.
Yeah, how'd you maintain the samples? Yeah, if it was so hot, did you have refrigeration there to hold some of the samples? Well, how'd you manage that?
No, we didn't take samples. We couldn't take the samples. We told the story, and then I told the story. And then the guy who was my driver, I slept on the floor of the van. He built himself a bunk across the back. Our clothes were on a broomstick inside the double doors of the van.
Whoa.
Right? And every couple of days when we get completely hot and sweaty and sticky, we would walk into a Marriott hotel like we owned it. And we would go and clean up in the showers and wash our clothes and wring them out in the showers and get back into the van and continue the tour.
Whoa, that's crazy. How many guys in the van? 2?
Just him and me.
Okay.
Yeah, we did the whole thing on raw vegetables because we noticed as soon as we hit the road, because we were literally working all day and driving all night, we noticed that if we ate carbs, we got tired. And if we ate meat, we felt heavy.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, you know what? We didn't have a refrigeration. We didn't have air conditioning. We didn't have anything. So all we did was picked up raw vegetables and munched raw vegetables.
No way.
Wow.
Really? Nothing cooked?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
We had no facility for that.
Oh my God.
And you know what? We were so on fire.
Yeah, I love it.
this thing that was possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember ever feeling like I was working.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I had no business background, and I set standards right and left. One of the standards was everybody wanted to distribute flax oil. So I would do an interview with them.
Wow.
And the interview would be very short sometimes. So first question was, do you have refrigeration in your location?
Mm-hmm.
If the answer was yes, then I would pass them off to Reese, my driver, to see if they could make a business deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they said no, I have a second question.
And you get one.
Are you willing to bring it in?
Yeah.
If they said yes, I would say, tell us when you've got it. And if they said no, I would say, this is a good time to end the interview.
Okay.
We were not willing to compromise our standards.
Yeah.
Because the oil should be refrigerated. You get about 2 weeks without refrigeration, maximum.
Oh, maximum. I was going to say, so the sensitivity with the oil is not just in the manufacturing process. It's also when it gets to your house, right?
Yeah. So the oil is refrigerated in the stores. You said it at Whole Foods. Yeah, it's in the brown glass bottle, in a box, in the fridge, in the supplement section, in the stores.
Okay. That's where you'll find it.
Right?
Okay, great.
Yeah. And so it's in the fridge. And then when you take it home, you refrigerate it at home and you add it to food after the foods come off the heat source. If you put it on cooked foods, goes in anything, but you never, ever, 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 ever use it for frying. Because the better it is for your health, the more chemically active it is, and the more it will get damaged when you put it in the frying.
Okay. And you can tell, can't you, when the oil's been damaged? It'll smell rancid, correct?
Well, you can smell it, but if the food turns brown or yellow, if it goes from green to yellow, you've already wrecked molecules.
Yeah.
If it goes to brown, more wrecked molecule. If it's black, more wrecked molecule.
Okay.
If it turns into smoke, you really wrecked it.
Okay. Interesting.
And that's how we wreck our food, and that's how we make ourselves sick.
Right.
And we use oils to do it, and the oils turn into smoke too.
Would you say that for all oils, Udo? So cooking with any oil is a no-no?
Yes.
Even coconut. Well, I know coconut has like a low.
Yeah, here's the kicker. Does the food turn brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wreck the food.
Even an air fryer?
Yeah, air fryer, you don't have to use oil.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you burn the food, you still wreck the food and created toxic molecules. because these are molecules that are not present in nature.
Oh, okay.
Nature's mandate for eating for every creature, like the doctors and the politicians and the lawyers and the pharma, they didn't invent health.
No.
Okay.
They just invent stuff to make money on, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Nature invented health. Life invented health in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Every creature that eats all its food, fresh, whole, raw, organic, local.
Yeah.
Probably sun-ripe, but that's not always true.
Yeah.
And for humans, probably more plant and animal-based, because when we were hunters with rocks, we came home without meat almost all the time. And then they ate vegetables.
Hey, we're vegan. You're speaking our language. Ron and I are vegan 8 years.
Vegetables don't run away and they don't fight back and they're easy to hunt down and kill.
That's right.
I have a funny story. Ron and I feed wildlife, not all of it, but we have our ones that we feed, and squirrels is one of them. And we leave them walnuts. And this bag, I thought it wasn't that old, but maybe it had just been open. And I did think it had a strange odor, not like nauseating. I just noticed it. And I put the nuts out for the squirrel. They come right up to me now. It's really adorable. And she takes it and she sniffs it and she drops it down. And then she goes to the next one and she does the same thing. And I'm like, oh my God, Ron, this walnut is clearly bad. And I didn't even know it. Like their sensitivity is so much stronger than ours, right? That she knew that. And then one time my mom and I were at a little beach shack here in Orange County having veggie burgers. And I got a gluten-free bun and my mom got a regular bun. And my mom was throwing the pieces of the bun to the squirrels. I know you're not supposed to do that, but she did. And then I joined in and threw a piece of my gluten-free bread, and the squirrel came up and smelled it and dropped it back down. It wouldn't eat my gluten-free bread. It would only eat hers.
Well, yeah. And margarines have been put on windowsills and stayed there for 3 years. No creature would eat it.
Yeah.
That's telling.
Not even the ants,
That's
right?
true. That was also in California. That was in Petaluma.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. I've seen that with the ants. And yeah.
So you asked is the oil available in capsules? Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's for travelers, and we recommend 6 capsules a day.
Okay.
But when you're at home, you should use the bottled oil because it's 1/3 the price.
Oh, gotcha.
Encapsulation is expensive.
Okay.
And Optimum is much bigger than that. Optimum is 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 tablespoons, depending on your weight.
Okay.
In winter, when it's cold, a tablespoon per 50 pounds of body weight per day.
Okay.
And in summer, when it's hot, maybe a half or 2/3 of that.
Okay. So those capsules, do they have to be refrigerated also?
No, the capsules don't have to be refrigerated, but the oil does.
Okay. Okay. That's what I
You add the oil after it comes off the heat.
Okay.
Compatible with every food that you eat, with fruit, with vegetables, with starch, with protein.
Okay.
They enhance flavors and improve the absorption of oil-soluble nutrients. That's if you eat whole foods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those will be in whole foods.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to take as much as it takes to make your skin soft and velvety.
So how long would it take if you're having dry skin or issues like that? How long would it take after starting the flaxseed protocol?
It depends. The feedback we've gotten, some people notice within hours.
Oh, wow.
And some people might take close to a month. It depends how much you take, but it also depends on how observant you are. A lot of people don't notice a lot of things about themselves.
They need to be silent.
They're in denial. Wrinkles are coming, people. Be aware.
Oh, you're really spoiling somebody's day here. Oh,
sorry. No, they can prevent them. They need flaxseed. Okay.
Anyway, so you add them to food after they come off the heat. You can put them in hot, cold, warm foods with anything. And you want to take whatever it takes to make your skin soft, smooth, and velvety.
Mm.
Now, why is that? Skin gets them last and loses them first because they have such important functions in your inner organs.
Mm.
Nature prioritizes getting it to the inner organs, and only if that's all taken care of will they show up in your skin.
Right.
That's how you measure optimum. If your skin is dry, you need more of the right kind of oil.
It's interesting. And I heard it's really good for your eyes too, right? Lubricating.
Yeah, when people get dry eyes, the oils help. Both of them together is better than just one of them alone.
Yeah. I mean, you think of like typical, we think, oh, I have dry skin, put lotion on. I mean, I know that's like very much what people would commonly reach for. And you don't think about doing that from the inside.
Yeah, the best way to oil your skin is from within.
Ooh, okay. I like
that.
Okay.
So Udo, let's discuss the pink elephant in the room. A lot of people talk about healthy fats and oils these days. What do you think they're missing and what do they have right?
ever since, I've been doing this work for over 40 years now. I started in 1980 and flax oil started in 1986. So I've been working with this a long time. By the way, I became omega-6 deficient on flaxseed oil because it has so much 3 and so little 6 that it crowds up the 6 because 3 inverted in the same system. So if you get too much of one, it crowds out the other. If you get too much of the other, it crowds out the one. That takes us back to omega-6 oils. Most people get 10 or 20 or maybe even 50 times more omega-6 than omega-3. So we get way too little omega-3, like we're down to 1/16th of what people got in 1850. And we've doubled, tripled, quadrupled, or maybe even more our omega-6 intake. So we've really skewed the ratio. Flax oil is the only oil that can make you omega-6 deficient because it has more omega-3 than omega-6, like 4 times more. And you can't go higher than maybe twice as rich in omega-3 as omega-6. That's what we do in the blend.
Okay.
And I became omega-6 deficient. I got dry eyes, skipped heartbeats, arthritis-like pain in my finger joints, and thin papery skin. Those are classic omega-6 deficiency symptoms.
Oh, interesting.
And I fixed it by eating sunflower seeds, which have a lot of omega-6 and omega-3 to bring the ratio back. And out of that came, I think we need to make a blend that has the right ratio so that the one isn't crowded out, the other isn't crowded out, that's made with health in mind, and that has enough omega-6 also made with health in mind to replace the omega-6s that are damaged. So now let me go to your pink elephant question. Ever since I've started working, there have always been people who've said oils are poisonous, seed oils are toxic, omega-6s are toxic, don't use seed oils and omega-6s. And there was actually a guy, I would call him a nutcase, in Oregon who basically said, if you get enough B vitamins, you don't need essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids are not essential. And when he said that, there were 6,000 studies that disagreed with him.
Wow.
And he actually came out and he badmouthed what I was doing. And he told people that I was in bed with the oil industry. And now there's some people saying flax oil is bad, and enormous amount of marketing money was put into it, into propping up an oil that's bad for you.
Oh, wow.
But that's completely, those people who write those books, not one of them has ever talked to me.
Oh.
They don't actually know what we're doing. They're making assumptions.
Right.
And they only got half the story.
Right.
So here the half of the story is you should not use damaged oils. Damaged oils damage your health.
Mm-hmm.
They're blaming omega-6s, which are essential for every cell in your body and are turned into hormone-like regulating substances with function in every one of your body's 60 trillion cells. They're blaming the oil when they should be blaming the damage.
The damage, right.
And the reason for that is they haven't done their homework.
Right.
They didn't have that thing, omega-6s are essential, omega-6s cause cancer and kill you. They haven't had a moment like that, or if they did, they didn't say, I need to get to the bottom of why this contradiction.
Yeah.
So they're blaming, and because nobody talks about the damage done to oils, the industry has never talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take an oil and you treat it the way the industry treats it, to make a colorless, odorless, tasteless oil that they sell in plastic bottles, you actually treat it with sodium hydroxide, which is a corrosive base, then with phosphoric acid, which is a very corrosive acid. Then you bleach them to get the color out because the color molecules attract light, which then damages the oil. Take those out, then the oil goes rancid and smells bad. Then you have to heat it to frying temperature to boil off the damaged molecule.
Mm.
And those are harsh processes on very sensitive molecules. In the process, you get 0.5 to 1% of the molecules damaged.
Right.
Change from how nature made them to something that never existed in nature. When you put those in your body, wherever that molecule goes, it will occupy space in your body, but will not be able to do the work that is supposed to be done in that space because it's the wrong molecule.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why they're toxic. They interfere with what's supposed to be going on wherever they land in your body. And that could be anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I came across that contradiction, I went and looked deeper. And that's what I found out, the damage done by processing.
Mm-hmm.
People who write those books, and there's probably been 40 in the time that I've been around. Right now, there's about 4 of them, very active. And a lot of people are repeating this bullshit. from people who didn't do their homework.
Is that, Udo, why you're hearing so much about seed oils right now? Not flaxseed, really. I haven't.
Yep.
But those oils I rattled off, what do they call them? The hateful eight. They actually have a name for them. The hateful eight. The oils that you see in all the processed foods and all of that. Are you saying the same thing about that? They're getting a bad rap because of how they're treated and cooked with and managed?
Yep.
They're actually not bad oils in their core.
Well, if you get those oils by eating the seeds they come from.
Right.
Organic seeds.
Yeah. Like sunflower seeds.
Right? Fresh seeds, not burnt, not roasted or salted.
Yeah.
Fresh seeds. The oil in those, omega-6s in those are essential nutrients.
Okay.
And the omega-3s in those, if any, there are not so many seeds that have a lot of omega-3s in them, are essential nutrients. But when you damage them, they're not essential nutrients anymore. Now they're toxic molecules.
Right, when they're baked and cooked and fried.
You're taking an essential nutrient and you're changing it into a toxic molecule.
Yeah, right.
Right? So that's what should be blamed for the problems caused by seed oils.
Right.
And the seed oils are all damaged. So 0.5 to 1% damage. When I found that out, after I looked deeper, I called the American Oil Chemist Society. They're the umbrella organization for the oil industry. And I said, I want to talk to one of your researchers. They put him on the line and I said to him, so I have a question. You know that the oil is damaged by the processing. Why do you do that?
Yeah.
And he said to me, well, one of the reasons we do that is because we can get rid of half of the pesticides in the oil by heating the oil to frying temperature. It's like you fry the oil for 30 minutes to get rid of half of the pesticides. Well, in my head, I'm going, oh, you mean the other 50% of the pesticide stays in there?
Oh, right.
I didn't even know at that time, I didn't even know there were pesticides in oils.
Right.
Because nobody ever talked about it.
Yeah.
But I said to him, so why don't you start with organically grown seeds?
Yeah.
Then you don't have that problem.
Money.
No, silence. He didn't say anything. And I waited. It was probably 3 seconds, but it seemed like an eternity, right? I was on the phone. And then when he came back, he was really angry. He says, I don't know what your problem is. The oil is 99% good. It's only 1% damaged. And if you got 99% on an exam, you'd be damn happy, wouldn't you? So now I'm thinking, now I'm backing off. I say, well, maybe I'm overreacting. It's only 1%. But I wasn't impressed with the 99 because I got 99.5% on my pesticide exam.
Right.
And occasionally I got 100% in my genetics exams when the next best mark was 62.
Oh,
okay.
Because I loved the topic and I was so focused on it and I just knew my stuff. Right?
That's great.
So I backed off. So then I said, okay, well, how do I find out? Is this a problem or is it not a problem? So I said, okay, I like doing questions. If you ask good questions, you get good answers. So here's my question. If I have a tablespoon of an oil that is 1% damaged by the processing, how many damaged molecules will be in that tablespoon? Now, have you heard this? Have you heard this?
No.
Okay, so I want you each to guess. How many damaged molecules? You have no basis for making the guess. I understand that. But it's really good for your audience to see what happens.
Okay, Lisa, ladies first.
You have 1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon of an oil that is 1% damaged. How many damaged molecules will be in that tablespoon?
Molecules. 100,000.
Okay, good. Perfect.
I'm going to go big. I'll say 1 billion, even though hopefully
billion?
Well,
1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay. So 100,000 has 5 zeros, correct?
Yes.
And 1 billion has 9 zeros, correct?
Yes.
So your highest estimate here is 10 zeros too short a number.
Whoa.
So if you have a 1% damaged oil, a tablespoon of it will contain 60 quintillion damaged molecules.
Wow.
Whoa.
And 60 quintillion damaged molecules is more than 1 million damaged molecules for every one of your body's 60 trillion cells.
Okay.
That's in 1 tablespoon.
Wow.
Most people use 2 to 4 tablespoons a day. Plus you get pesticides in there. Plus you get plastic leaching into the oil.
Yeah. Unless it's like Udo's where it's USDA certified organic, right?
Unless it's made with health in mind.
Yeah.
Right.
But the industry doesn't make oils with health in mind.
Because I think people still don't get that, Udo. People are still like, oh, organic. It's, Well, it's expensive. Why do I need it? Because it guarantees
So
that your food isn't processed.
I'll get back to that in a second.
Yeah.
Flax oil cost 4 times more than the usual oils that people bought. When we started, 4 times more. You know, not a single person ever questioned the price. We made it with health in mind. We charged what it cost so we could make a small profit. The profit's not great, right? But we buzzed it. We were on fire. We were excited. We were charged, you know, and people heard the story. And the enthusiasm is really what sold it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Your belief in it and your knowledge. I mean, honestly, this is like, we aren't taught this in school unless you're, you know, going to college for nutrition.
Even then wasn't, because the curriculum is written by the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the food industry, right?
Yeah.
Agro industry. Heinz, you know, the ketchup people.
Yeah.
Yep.
In 1937, they wrote a nutrition book for the nutrition faculties at universities.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Heinz loaded with high fructose corn syrup, people, if you don't know, Heinz ketchup.
Yeah, and Heinz ketchup, you know, they said, you know, tomatoes, you can't digest tomato, you can't absorb the lutein in tomatoes, the red pigment, if you don't cook it. Well, they said that because they cook it to make ketchup. But if you eat your tomato with oils, the lutein dissolves in the oil. And if you chew it up properly, it absorbs perfectly well.
Yeah. And even doctors, we have 2 of our closest friends are doctors. They said, oh, yeah, they are lucky if they got 1 semester or 1 class, just 1 class on nutrition. So,
well, yeah, because the Rockefellers wrote curriculum for the medical profession, and they were selling unnatural products that can be patented. And they were then based on petrochemicals because they owned Standard Oil.
Yeah.
Right.
And then dissed all of the alternate practitioners. So they were naturopaths and chiropractors. They said they were all quacks. And anybody who didn't do that, you know, and then the other thing is they called it healthcare when it's actually disease management. They don't practice healthcare.
Yeah.
Hygiene is healthcare.
Right.
Nutrition is healthcare.
Yeah.
Eating in line with nature, or eating in line with nature and your nature, is healthcare. There are a lot of levels to that.
Oh, yeah.
Eating fresh, whole, raw, organic is healthcare.
That's healthy.
Right. Absolutely.
But frying is not.
Frying is not. Are you a vegan? Are you a raw foodist? Are you a mixture?
I have done everything under the sun. We grew up mostly on plants because we lived on a farm without electricity. And my father would have to drive into town 15 miles and then back. Every Friday, he'd bring a piece of meat. So we had meat once a week.
Okay.
When I was at university, I tried all kinds of stuff. Now I'm pretty much plant-based.
Yeah.
And I do it not because I want to be vegan, although there are definitely benefits to the environment. But I do it because I feel best that way.
You feel best. Yeah.
Sure.
And I really have been paying attention to what my body tells me.
Yeah. Which is really what we all should do. I mean, it's always coming down to, how do you feel? How does that food make you feel? Like you said, do you feel sluggish and like you need to fall asleep or unbutton your pants after you ate something? That's probably a sign that is not good for you.
Right.
Yeah. You're not following the right symptoms.
Yeah. Yeah. When Ron and I did a raw vegan cleanse, and we're utterly shocked at how much energy we had because we weren't told that that was one of the benefits. We just did it because we thought it's good for you, but we didn't really know.
For how long is cleanse?
Well, we did it a couple times, 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And I love the food, to be honest. And I would go to the gym and do a workout and feel like I could do another one. Like it's so much energy, but it is very strict and it takes a lot of time to cook and prepare. It's very time consuming, I'd say. So it's not for everybody. We're vegan and we're pretty much whole food, but full raw, that's tough. I like hot food sometimes. And I think that my body needs that heat sometimes. So Ron likes his French fries and that's not.
That's right. Probably shouldn't have French fries, but I do enjoy French fries for sure.
Well, occasionally.
You know why? Because you got them with mother love when you were a kid. You need to keep the mother love and you need to throw out the fries.
Oh,
is that it? Okay.
Comfort
Our
food.
mothers were bamboozled into cooking with oil. We used to call that frying because the industry promoted it because they wanted to sell more oil.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When I was a kid, cooking meant cooking in water. And the other thing was called frying.
Wow.
So now everybody, when they say cooking, they mean frying.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So the word has changed. all by advertising input from the oil industry.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Never been good for you. So you need to separate the mother love from the bad habit she taught you and to get rid of the bad habit.
No, but on a positive note,
if he doesn't do that, then just make sure his insurance is paid up.
Right. For sure. Okay.
We use our air fryer now. We do like fries with no oil, actually. So,
but we just learned that he said the food is damaged.
But if you still burn the food, then you're still doing damage to the food, which will then do damage to you.
No, we don't burn the fries. They're golden, right?
Golden is in the direction of brown.
Sorry, Rod. I tried to help you.
Right.
Because the potato, when it's fresh cut, is white.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just here to tell you the truth.
I'm just so glad I threw Ron under the bus because listeners, you've heard him throw me under the bus before. So today was my day.
He's a French fry truther.
Well, we can all have a raw whole food party under the bus.
Let's do it. Bring the bus. Let's do a tour. Let's do a bus tour in California. Okay, Udo, I got to leave listeners with this question. And I know we're getting close on time, but it's so important. Can you share with our listeners a little about mental health for modern times and how we can keep our power and light no matter how dark, confusing, and chaotic the world becomes? And this is like...
I'll make it very simple, but I have to tell you, if you want to get into human nature and total health and mental health, we got to do another show.
Okay.
There's so much to it.
Let's do it.
But let me tell you, the short thing is, you have to be the light in your sphere. You have to be the light. That light is always beautiful, is always perfect health, is always filled with love.
Mm-hmm.
Something in you loves you unconditionally, 24/7, lifelong. Okay? But your focus needs to go there if you want to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And usually our focus is in here or out there.
Yeah.
Right? And then you say, oh my God, oh, look at what they're doing. Oh God, that's really bad. And you see all this stuff, negative. Here's what I can do. I can tell you that life is always incredibly beautiful and an incredible gift. And there is no gift like it for a human being.
Mm.
And the world sucks a lot of the time.
Wait, you just got out of the Buddha mode.
Because we get out of Buddha mode and then do really stupid things. And we're doing stupid things because we're discontent. And we're discontent because we're disconnected. Heartache begins with disconnection from self, not with somebody dumping you. That's a trigger. But the cause is your own disconnection from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Right? But I'm telling you, this is like, we could probably do 2.
I'd love to do a show on that. I don't think we've done a show on that. And that's so important, Udo. Thank you for sharing that.
And so mental health, what is mental health? Well, if your life is always whole and always healthy, and your mind can't go into your life, although your life supports your mind, right? Life is the energy behind your thinking and your doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what you're thinking does not affect the energy. The energy is always free of that. That's why if you know how to go there, and behind the energy that is unconditional love is an awareness that is all-encompassing peace that fills the entire universe.
Mm.
That is not affected by anything, not the explosions, not the galaxy's explosion, not your anger, not your diarrhea. It's not affected by anything, right? Everything is taking place in this container, infinite container of peace.
Your own individual container.
So the peace is not affected by anything going on in the world of change.
Right.
And the love is not affected. And if you're inspired because you're feeling it, so then you're going to shine into the world, that's not affected either. It's when you lose your connection to that, that you start tripping on, oh, they did that. Oh, they should do that. Oh, why not this? Oh, why am I so stupid? That all of your mental stuff, that's all made up. Somebody made it up. You made it up, or your parents made it up, or your culture made it up. Something made it up, right? And you're in a world of change where everything changes. And if you want constancy from change, that's never going to happen because it's the nature of things that change to change.
Yeah. Embrace that change.
And it's the nature of things that don't change to not change. You want something that's calm and peaceful, you got to go to that in you, which never changes.
Which is, we talked about at the top before the show started. It's quiet. It's getting to that quiet place.
Yeah.
That meditation, that stillness.
And by the way, all of the great masters talked about that.
Yeah.
because they did that. They did their stillness practice. They connected to it. And then they spoke from what they experienced, because that's who you really are in there, because you're not the body. Like if I say to you, hey, whose body is that? Most people would say it's my body.
Yeah.
If you say this is my body, then you've just told me you're not the body. You're the owner.
Yeah.
You're the owner. The body's your property. Then who are you as owner of the body? Well, life owns the body. And life is that energy.
Yeah.
And you are that energy. And when your life and body part company, your body goes flat permanently. And the life, you go with the life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
And the life doesn't just disappear. Energy is something. It has a nature. You can't just like vaporize the nature.
Right. Your soul, your spirit, that's immortal.
So if you're living in a world that's overwhelming and anxiousness producing and too much change and too little control and all of that, that's pretty much where the issues come from.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you're not connecting yourself, your awareness, your focus to where your foundation is. That is your foundation. And then you go back and forth with all of the things that change. It's like, oh my God. It's driving me crazy. Yeah, of course, because it's crazy.
It will drive you crazy. Yeah.
And it's going too fast. It's changing too fast. And you don't like the things people are doing. And then you have something to complain about. And it's this one thing after another. But here in the middle of all of this, here you are in perfect peace, unconditionally empowered and loved and shining.
Right.
And so literally you can say, you know what? I'm not sick, but my body is. I'm not mentally ill, but my mind is going nuts. But I'm not the mind and I'm not the body. I am the energy. I am the awareness. I am the peace. I am the love. This is the nature of every human being. And if imagine that 8 people took the time and did the homework to come back to the thing they got connected from, because in the womb, you were connected to that. You're in meditation for 9 months in the most boring environment imaginable, but you weren't bored. You're in bliss. You were in light.
There's a school, I think it's in Ohio, Maharishi University.
Oh, Maharishi University, yeah.
Where they teach meditation, right? And there's also, I believe, elementary school there where the kids, like, they meditate. They meditate every day. And there's no there's no punishment. There's, meditate and think about, that or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's the best use of a timeout would be to meditate.
To meditate, right? Yeah.
To reconnect to that beautiful place. There's a guy who wrote a book called Hear Yourself, How to Find Peace in a Noisy World. If you like reading, you should get it.
Thank you for that tip.
How to Find Peace in a Noisy World.
Okay, we got to do a whole show on this because this is so important. And there's so many people suffering right now, with the rates of depression are skyrocketing. Suicide, sadly, is skyrocketing among teens. And then the political arena and the worldly events above. And like you said at the beginning, they've always been there. It's not new.
Yeah.
It's not new. This chaos and destruction and that has been going on for all time. So it's our job to maintain our bubble, like you said.
Exactly. And the point of why people are committing suicide, why is that? Because they don't feel their life is worth living. And nobody's helped them to find that, they don't know that there's something inside of them that is so gloriously beautiful that if they could find their way to that, they would say, oh my God, this is the most incredible thing. I'm a human being. I'm alive. God, I get to have sadness and I get to have joy and I get to have babies and I get to have all these things, right? Oh my God. And I only get it for maybe 100 years if I'm lucky.
But not French fries,
or
right?
That
we don't get French fries.
No, but they get oil. They get flax.
No French fries.
They get oil.
French fries is hell.
All right.
So, and then you didn't exist for 4 billion years. Now you're here for 100 years. Then you're going to not exist for 4 billion years. I don't know how long, right? Or maybe this is the time.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the holiday and make the most of it. But how do you do that? What if you were fully present with all of your being in the space your body occupied? What would you find there?
Yeah.
You find everything. Everything you're looking for out there is actually you have in here.
Yeah. And when we all do that, we light up the world. We inspire others.
When 8 billion people are living that way, are doing their homework, this will be a completely transformed world.
Completely different world.
Because we're living out of our discontent into the world. So we do destructive things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're living out of peace, then you just basically live into a world of peace. Well, you don't hammer people.
Right.
When you're living into a world of peace.
You don't want to, your energy becomes too important. You don't want anything to disrupt that because that peace is so valuable, right? That it's like becomes the most important thing.
Even the wars take place in peace. Everything takes place in peace. Peace is everywhere. But you only know that if you connect to it in the core of your being, right? So the warriors on the battlefield, there's peace within them, peace around them, peace between them, peace above and below them. But their focus is, you're my enemy, I'm going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
You're my enemy, I'm going to kill you. And then perfect peace. They kill each other.
Yeah. Wow.
If they tapped into that peace, they would put down their weapons. They'd say, hey, you're a human being. I'm a human being. The fact that you're alive and human is good enough for me. How can we help each other make our lives better?
Right. Because they're fighting someone else.
How can we make sure that our kids get to live in peace?
We're all the same at the core. I mean, Yeah,
it's not complicated. And it's only a matter of doing the homework. Individual.
Yeah. Do your homework, guys, and get some flaxseed oil. Okay. Well, thank you, Udo, for being with us today. This was so enlightening and amazing. Friends, be sure to snag your free gift, the first draft of Udo's new upcoming book, Your Body Needs an Oil Change. I love that title. As well as a bonus video course. You guys can get this for free. Just head to Udo, and that's UDO Erasmus, ERASMUS.com/healthy home hacks, where you can learn bad oils out, good oils in. If you do it right, you will look better, feel better, think better, do better, and be better.
And friends, as always, please be sure to rate and subscribe to our show. Head to healthyhomehacks.com for all of the show notes. And we will see you again in 2 weeks. So stay healthy, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stay healthy.
Thanks, Udo. Thank you.
And I'll be back.
He'll be back, the Terminator.
Sehr gut, wunderbar, ja.
Wunderbar, wunderbar.
Awesome. Thank you.
This episode of the Healthy Home Hacks podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more healthy living strategies and tactics to help you create the healthy home you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you on the next episode.